Greetings. Welcome to part 2 of area of circles. Probably won't do any perimeter circumference today. We're just going to look at some areas. Now I've got a couple of circles and I got a semicircle, which I really think is going to be the real interesting one, because so many people, it's like, wow, how many perfect circles do we encounter in a day? Maybe I don't know, tire on a car, steering wheel, I don't know. But everybody goes to school and sees a basketball court, and this looks a lot like one end of the basketball court, where there's your free throw line, that's the way they call the paint, and outside of that, then maybe it's your 3-point area. This is kind of interesting when you realize how much space this is. Okay, now I'm not doing any measurements for the actual basketball court here, but we'll work on something that'll let you figure it out when you want to. So we're gonna find the area. We're gonna make it real easy on ourselves. We're gonna sit here we're going to give ourselves the radius. Now, as you recall, that's what we want, the radius of our circle. And if we know the radius of our circle, it's a pretty simple formula. We take the area, we multiply pi times our radius squared. That's our formula. We learned that one from part 1. And now that we have our radius, we can simply plug that in. 5 centimeters. We're going to square that whole thing. And when we're done, we're going to have 25 pi centimeters squared. Now again, I don't feel the need to sit here and multiply pi with you, multiply by 3.14. I know it's 77 point, I think it's 74 or something like that. I don't know. It's pretty close. But who cares? Because if I do that, now what I've done is I've estimated, I've lowered the accuracy of my answer. That answer right there, 25 pi, is exact. Okay, I haven't missed anything, I haven't left anything out, I haven't gotten it close. I have given an exact answer because that is what it is. And if I multiply by 3.14, now I have estimated it because I rounded off pi before I even started to do any math with it. So, it's like rounding off. I didn't even round off at the end, I rounded off at the beginning. So I don't like to do that. I like to leave my answer, simply put, 25 pi centimeters squared. Now I have to keep in the back of my mind that 25 pi, like I said, is around 77 actual centimeters squared. Because if I were trying to figure out, is it bigger than such and such, I have to always remember, okay, 25 pi means I'm going to multiply. But for you, and especially for those of you that are taking things like SATs, PSATs, or any other standardized testing, if you're looking for a multiple choice, just remember approximately you're going to multiply by 3. That's around 75. I know it's closer to 77, but I promise that there isn't going to be one that's close and then one's a little closer. They're either going to be right on, they're going to be way off, because they're assuming you're going to make some other mistake, like forgetting to square the 25 first, or multiplying the 5 and the pi and then squaring it, which would make it too big. So if you forget so you get 5 pi, multiply by 3.14, you get 15, that'd be too small. You multiply you get the 15 and then you square it, you get 225, that's too big. So like I said, it's very much of a Goldilocks on what answer makes sense. That's why I don't do anything with symbols till you absolutely have to. And then only do it if you absolutely have to. Okay? Because you could get to a point where, hey, if it's about 3, it's got to be that answer. Or I don't have to multiply it at all because my teacher accepts 25 pi centimeters squared as a perfectly legitimate answer, as I do. Okay? So that's our first circle, nice and easy. Let's make it a tiny bit more complicated. We're going to throw in the diameter this time. Now, how is that making it more difficult? Well, for our formula for area, we know we need radius. I don't have radius. So I have to remember back to how do I find the radius? Well, the radius is equal to the diameter cut in half, right? You can just see, it's very visual, right? The radius is from the edge to the center. I have two edges, the center to the edge here, then the center to the edge to the center here. So I have 2 of them. So what I need to take my 20 meters and divide it by 2, and that's going to get me 10 meters, and that's going to be my radius. And now I'm right back to where I was. I can use my formula of pi times the radius squared. 10 squared is 100, so again 100, and then I'm going to use my pi symbol, meters squared. And again, if I needed the 3.14, I could multiply it much easier now at 100 because it's just 314. So again, I've saved myself some trouble if I don't have to do it. I've even saved some trouble if I do, because if I multiply it earlier, I might have more difficulty. Okay, so you always want to make it as easy on yourself as you possibly and humanly can do it. Okay, so I like these. These are fairly simple. And again, this is a lot of how many people are just walking up to you on the street and going, "Can you give me the area of this circle I've got here?" But you might want to do something similar. You might want to build your own basketball court, and you want to know how big a space do you need? How much, how big do I need to make the paint, and how big? What's that going to create for a semicircle? How do you draw that semicircle? Unless you know what that semicircle is going to look like before you start, right? You're certainly not going to do it and then go, "Ooh, that doesn't look big enough." Then you're too late. You want to know before you even start what's going to be the right size. So here we go. We're gonna make this a square. That's another one of my favorite things to do is if something's a square, I only need one measurement. It's again that one measurement world, because the 40 yards is all of the sides. Okay, so now area of a square is length times width. Sometimes you'll see it as sides times side because it's a square. They're the same thing. So they are 40 yards times 40 yards, which is going to be 1,600 yards squared. Now that's this, but that's not my semicircle. I got to get that too. Okay? But first I have to acknowledge I don't even have a circle. I have half a circle, right? I have a semicircle. And I don't have the radius. I have this distance right here, which I know is the diameter. So first I got to take the 40 yards and divide it by 2. And that's going to get me my radius of my semicircle. Then I get to use my formula here of my pi times 20 yards squared. And then I got to remind myself, hey, you know what? That's for a circle. I don't have a whole circle. I have half a circle. I have a semicircle. That's a lot, okay? But that's the kind of stuff that you need to be able to do. And when you know the formulas and you've got them like this, you can just go, hey, you know what? I already know how to find the circle. Oh, wait, what I have to worry about is, hey, I don't have a whole circle. Hey, I have the diameter and not the radius. I got to deal with each of those things in turn. So 20 squared would be 400 times pi. Again, these are yards squared, and then divide that by 2. And I'm gonna squeeze it in over here at 200 yards squared. Sorry, 200. That is wrong. I should correct myself. 200 times pi yards squared. Now, if I wanted that as a full answer, I would add those two together. And that's when I probably would go ahead and multiply that. Maybe I'm trying to figure out how much paint I need because I'm painting this on the ground, right? I need to know how much paint I need to paint this. Now, if you've seen a basketball court, you know that's going to be a different color. This is going to be a different color than that. So, but maybe I need to figure out each one. Maybe I just, hey, I'm looking at my backyard and deciding, do I have enough room to make a full basketball court or at least a half a basketball court? Those are good, right? Make a half basketball court in your backyard. You need to know, do I have enough space? Now I can go out there and I can measure because I've done the math at hand first. Okay? That would be into part 2 of finding the area of circles. Okay? We know how to find the circumference of circles. We know how to find the areas of circles. And we just need to keep those formulas in mind. So I'm going to go over them one more time. And that is pi times the radius squared for the area of a circle, and the radius times 2 times pi for the circumference, or in other words, the diameter times pi for the circumference. Those are the 2 parts that you need. I hope that was helpful. Again, if you've got questions, email me or see me in office hours.